Ulonga tabati yada to ye ko madaifa. Ino to ye ko jeun. Ulon fi bipa. Ọba tala, ọba takuntakun. Ṣàngó Èṣù, Ògún Ọya Ọ̀ṣun. Kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o? Ó jẹ́ lọ jára rẹ̀.
Alafia, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I'm your host, Orisha Bami. Peace and blessings, tribe. What's good with y'all, man? We'll get this party started. But with that, man, shout out to everybody who been rocking with us the last few days. We've been going kind of heavy, here in the in these Ashe streets. And shout out to Professor Kaba. He'll be joining us shortly for the watch party. What I'm gonna do though, I'm gonna go ahead and get the documentary started before he comes on, and then once he comes on, I'll probably take a quick pause, to formally introduce him and bring him in, and then also we'll be both sitting here checking out the comments and all that during the stream. And then we'll definitely be chopping it up after the documentary goes off with the, Q&A for the live stream. And so with that, tribe, real quick before I start it, though, first and foremost, thank you to everybody who's been joining the community. We got a bunch of new community subscribers to the channel. We definitely got a bunch of new subscribers to the Patreon. Y'all keep on, showing love to the Patreon, keep showing love to the channel, and I'm going to keep on pushing out this content, to the best of my ability and keep on bringing this Ashe to these Ashe streets. And shout out to everybody who was on the private community call last night. I was able to get it up on YouTube for those who, I think some people were looking for it on YouTube. I was able to get it up, but for some reason, Patreon wasn't cooperating with me. So I'll probably have to do that again, either later on tonight, Patreon tribe, or definitely first thing tomorrow. I'll get it up there for those who weren't able to make the call last night. And another quick announcement, man, thank you to every single one of y'all, not only that's on this stream, but every single one of y'all who've been rocking with us from day one. I posted the very first episode of this podcast on April 8th of 2024. And we just hit 1 million views, I think, yesterday. So that's huge, man. So I definitely appreciate y'all. There's no way we're going to get a person or multiple people, hundreds of thousands of people to watch, a show and to reach it to 1 million, in less than 2 years. That's huge to me. So that's not about me. That's about y'all. It's about the love. It's about the support. It's about the consistency. It's about the dedication. It's about the likes. It's about the shares. It's about the comments. And it's about supporting, not just myself, but the guests as well. So with that, tribe, huge shout out, appreciation to each and every one of y'all for all 1 million plus of those views, man. I'm extremely excited, extremely happy, and extremely humble, Real quick, too, and I'm going to try to get some of these comments up before I jump off with the documentary. But real quick, I wanted to share this because this is something that I've never spoke to him about. But it was on my spirit before I came on to share this with some people who's listening or who will catch the replay or what have you. But go for what you know. Go for whatever it is that's been sitting on your spirit, whatever it is that you've been thinking about that you want to start or you want to get accomplished or you want to do it. If it's starting a business, start it. If it's writing a book, write it. If it's starting a podcast, start it. Because straight up and down, I'm telling you, the dopest thing, the dopest story about how I even met Professor Kaba is phenomenal. And I remember hearing, I think it was Les Brown that used the quote saying, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. Long story short, I met Professor Kaba the first time. I think I shared with y'all on the stream that I just posted today with the very first interview that I ever had with him, which was in Miami. But the way that interview came about, I didn't want to talk about this on that one because I wanted to share it on this one with him so I can kind of get his feedback. But the way that interview came about is I went to see him, which was my second event down in Miami. And I reached out to the brother who was throwing the event. And he gave me the ticket, When I got down there, I met him, chopped it up with him. I had just started my journey with speaking not too long before that. So I had, I think it was a Canon T6 Rebel camera because I was tired. It got real expensive paying them videographers, for cameras to come record on my events. So I said, hey, I'm going to buy my own camera so I can record my own events. And so when I did that, I asked the brother who was throwing the show, I was like, bro, you think I can capture some footage, of Professor Kaba? I'm like, yo, that's like my favorite teacher, man. I would love if you'll let me, capture some footage for this event. So he's like, yeah, that's cool, brother. That's cool. So I'll be damned if the dude who he hired to actually record the whole event never showed up. You know what I'm saying? He left them hanging, like straight up, no call, no show. So when he did that, the brother came back to me. He was like, hey, bro, you think you can record the whole event for me? He was like, yo, if you do that for me, I'll directly introduce you to, Professor Kaba. Because at that time, I had just wrote Starseeds, just wrote it. And so I was like, yeah, I would love to meet him. So I'm going to see if I get an interview with him to talk to him about my book, which, he inspired me to write. And long story short, man, it worked out. I recorded the event, and then boom, 6-7 years, here we are. So this is an honor and a pleasure for me to really, be a part of this event and a part of his documentary as well as him. All the work that he's done for me to kind of lead and help me get to this point. So with that, family, without further ado, I know y'all came to see him in the documentary, so let me get that to y'all, and I'll definitely be here chopping it up in the comments. And then once he comes on a little bit later, I'll pause the documentary, bring him in, introduce him, and we'll fall back, finish it, and then we'll chop it up after the documentary. All right, family, peace.
Egypt was Kemet, and Kemet was black. Egypt, Kemet, and Kemet was black. Egypt was Kemet, and Kemet was black.
What was the relationship between Egypt and Nubia?
In
its first 1,000 years,
y'all can hear the volume.
Was almost completely and totally black
African.
African.
On my end, so I just want to make sure that's
those were
right.
the critical years. Those are the years in which the pyramids were built. Those are the years of high science in Egypt. Those are the years in which the political, the administrative, the scientific structures were laid down.
Hotep and peace, family. Kaba Kamene here in Cairo, Kemet. 18-day celebration of culture, of understanding, of study. And we are going to be presenting to you a multi-part documentary series. You'll be traveling to many different places as it relates to here in Kush, Kemet. We are going to be guided by our brother Aksal. I thank also Heru Neset for being the texpert, for the one who guided us through this process. His eyes are going to become your eyes. And as we travel this phenomenal place, you're going to see some really phenomenal things. And you're going to be taken from one place to another, and I ask you to please understand that this was a great celebration.
I'm Bobby Seale with the steel, Fred Hampton with the steel, Mega Evers with the steel. Every ball hard as steel, I deserve to touch a meal. Every beat I touch I kill, I am legend, word to will. Carl Winslow, Uncle Phil, son of rappers teaching youngest how to be a man. Applying underground pressure till I shake the land. I'm over 30 but I look like I'm 25. Wisdom like I'm 58, freaky like I'm 69.
And I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black.
Black diamonds, black gold, black power, black.
Okay, peace, family, peace and blessings, Professor Kaba. I appreciate you for joining us and this opportunity to bring this private watch party to the family, man.
Oh, no doubt. My brother Orisha Bemi, thank you so much for the opportunity, and to everyone that's on board here, I thank you for your time and your interest in what it is that we're doing. And I just appreciate this experience. So thank you all for coming through.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. And so with that, I was telling the tribe, I don't know if y'all saw the comments or not, but I got a raffle that I'm doing right now to give away 2 copies of Professor Kaba's documentary, because I believe in real support. And so before it even released, I bought several copies actually, but I definitely want the raffle off too, for the tribe, for y'all supporting me and all the work that I do, as well as those, who support Professor Kaba, because I've been getting a lot of comments, with the people just showing love and support, and gratitude just for having you even on the channel. So that within itself, is huge. And I think last time I spoke to you before we did our last episode, I was telling you, like, man, I'm still getting people talking about the very first one we did, let alone, all the rest of them, like, for real. So this is truly an honor and a pleasure. And I was sharing with them, like, how I even got to actually meet you, in that event in Miami. And that was because I just so happened to have my camera on me, and the brother who was supposed to film the event, I don't even know if you know this story, the brother who was supposed to film the event didn't show up. So the brothers who brought you in, they told, because I had asked them if I could record, the footage. I'm like, yo, this is like my favorite teacher. I wrote a book. I want to interview him. I want to, talk to him about this book. And if y'all could, introduce me, that'd be cool. So at the time, he was like, I'll see what I could do. But then when the dude never showed up to actually film, he was like, hey, brother, you want to record the whole event for me? And then I'll personally make sure that you meet Professor Kaba. And so that's how that whole introduction came about that night. That night after the event, when I got to meet you, I just so happened to be prepared, for that opportunity with my camera, and here we are.
Wow, that's powerful. And I also remember when we went to that store.
Oh yeah,
and, we were doing curricula, and I was explaining how to teach about the pyramids and things like that. You filmed that also. That's some powerful information there. So yeah, man, it's all things in divine order, brother Orisha Bami.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I appreciate it. And with that, tribe, if y'all didn't get the I don't know if everybody heard it or not, or y'all saw it in the message, but I'm auctioning off or raffling off 2 copies of Professor Kaba's documentary that we're watching now. And so actually, I saw one of the numbers got picked. So it went from 2 to 1 now. So the numbers are between 1 and 50, y'all. Whoever picks the 2 numbers that Professor Kaba picked before he came in, those will be the 2 who get the free documentaries on me. And then I also later on, after we finish, I'll shoot out 2 more of Star Seeds. I'm gonna give away 2 copies of Star Seeds as well. So with that, family, if anybody has any questions or comments for Professor Kaba before we get back to finishing up the documentary, I'll take a couple of them real quick, and if not, we'll jump right back in and finish it up, and then we'll get it popping from there. Let's see. They're picking them numbers. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and finish it up, and then we'll jump back on, Professor Kaba.
Okay, brother.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Egypt had 3,000 years of history. No people have ever had such a long history. All civilizations come to an end. And in a later period, when you have invasions and you have other peoples coming in, the whole thing becomes mixed up. And you have to study the periods closely to know which is the African element and which is not. But in the critical years of the civilization, the African influence is dominant and overwhelming.
I am Nubian, Egyptian, Africans.
What is it that you liked about what he says to say?
Yes, because I like history. I'm interested. So he's big official, he's big professor, and mention about ancient history, about Nubian history, life in Egypt.
He emphasizes the Nubian.
Nubian. So I love Nubian people, and I wish to be Nubian forever.
You will be.
Yes.
Christopher Ware from the Bay Area. Before I came on this trip, I said this is what my spirit needed. And after concluding everything, 10 days, I can definitely say that my spirit was definitely full of knowledge, inspiration, and just so much empowerment. Shout out to Professor Kaba, Ru, and Axel for putting everything together. I definitely look forward to coming on many different trips with you all. And it was a joy and it was an experience. And now I get to go back home and just soak everything up and just learn it and back at it. Peace.
This trip has been amazing. I've met some amazing people. It's been an honor to spend the last 11 days with Brother Kaba. I've learned so much about him. I've learned so much about myself and my identity and what I'm going to do to try and make a change in the future. Like I said, I've met some amazing people. The Summer Solons tour has been great. If you've not booked your ticket yet, get your ticket booked for the winter one or for next year. Book it now. Chase!
Really enjoyed this experience. I feel like I've found out more about who I am and my lineage and where us black people originated from. Yeah, it's been an amazing experience and I'd love to come back again.
An amazing trip, Egypt or Kemet tour 2024. It was beautiful to see what the ancestors created. It was beautiful to see the sort of mind that the ancestors had, and hopefully us as a people can strive to try to get there ourselves. It's been amazing for me. It kind of validated who I am as a person and what I want to be and how I should start thinking out there in the world today. It's been a mad experience and I love it, and I can't wait to do another one.
Hey, so fam, I had no expectations coming in, but everything that I experienced here is actually unbelievable and untangible. I met people who I've never seen before, which felt like family to me. I visited sites which 1% of the population never gets to see. We went inside pyramids. The person I was going in is not the person I was coming out. I released, I prayed, I meditated, I chanted, I cried. We built so many memories that are lifelong memories, and this is like a group of 60 people, and no one felt like a stranger. Not one person felt like a stranger. The person that I feel today is love, light, ambitious, courageous, fearless. There's so much emotion going through me, and this was just the beginning. So it ain't over till we win. Professor Kaba is always in my heart. Thank you so much.
I'm here, end of the trip, feeling amazing. It's my birthday today, so it's good to end it on a good note, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is the best birthday ever. This trip has been absolutely life-changing. Having brother Kaba as well, Axel, Haru, the whole team, all the ups and downs, trials and tribulations. But this is a dream come true. Ever since I was young, I wanted to come here. And I think this is just the beginning. I want to go home, get back into the studying, and hopefully do some more trips. I think there's a trip in December. I'm looking to plan to do that, or even next year. And yeah, it's an amazing trip. Anyone thinking about coming, it's definitely worth it. Words can't explain. I can't put into words really how much this trip has mean to me or changed me. You have to experience it yourself. But yeah, amazing time. And see you guys soon.
Overall, this has been an amazing experience. I've done some things that I never thought I would do. It's truly the trip of a lifetime. I've been in hot air balloons, like I've been out to the pyramids, I've been inside the pyramids. I've seen some amazing things, and it's been such a great trip.
That's
such
it
good
right there. So with that, once again, Professor Kaba, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to join us, man, with this phenomenal display of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, overstanding, understanding, and understanding. Shout out to Iyalode or Risa Tosin, and I believe it was Harmonious Balance that won the two copies on me. So I'll get with both of y'all. If y'all could give me your email addresses, please, for me to get you your copy of the documentary. You could get it to me. I think y'all are both in the Patreon, either in the Patreon or I'll share my email address. Y'all can email it to me as well for me to get that to y'all. And then also I'm gonna definitely raffle off two copies of Starseeds, The Children of the Ancients, my book that kind of was my introduction, to meeting Professor Kaba. So to be able to be here, to be a part of this particular event, to share his documentary with y'all, the tribe exclusive. I say tribe exclusive, man. It's an honor and pleasure. And real quick, it's not going to be available after tonight, family. So this was definitely just a one-time deal because that is his intellectual property. And I'm grateful and honored for him, allowing me to share it on the channel. But we're definitely going to be removing it. Once we finish with the Q&A on the live stream, you will be able to get it off of his website, which I did put in the comments, and I'll share it again. And then we're working on a way to give the stream away for just a donation on whatever you want to give as a donation. Professor Kaba didn't want to charge the tribe. He just said that, donations are good. So I respect that. So we'll work that part out. And as soon as we get that worked out, family, I'll definitely be sharing that with you as well. But as of now, you can definitely get the copy for yourself at Professor Kaba's website. And yeah, man. So with that, Professor Kaba, phenomenal work, man. Phenomenal. I don't see any questions yet from the tribe, but I got a few. I got a lot. So if they don't have any, trust me, I got plenty.
All right. Sounds good, brother. Flow with the spirit, brother, man.
I got you. Okay. That's what's up. So that was powerful. And for me, I know it had been, how many years had it been since you was in Kemet? Like 30, 40 plus years?
Well, the last time I was in Kemet was in 1987.
Wow. So
and this was 2024.
So almost 40
you're
years.
dealing with 37 years.
Yeah. Wow.
My first time in Kemet was in 1983. And, my thing was when I went back very differently in terms of my mindset as to what I felt was to be presented. And as I spoke to Harun Neset, we were developing how we wanted to approach this. A week before we put the documentary out, we put a documentary on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, It's titled 92 to 24,
Mm.
which was a back and forth. You saw some clips with Dr. Ben and the great Gil Noble, who produced the TV show Like It Is. Well, this was going back and forth between these two times, between 1992 and 2024. When we were at the pyramids in 2024, we showed the piece when Dr. Ben and Gil Noble were at the pyramids. Luxor, 1992, 2024. I wanted that to be paying homage to our ancestor, because I always believe in honoring our ancestors before we do anything.
Sure.
This documentary was not to replicate other great documentaries on Kemet, because so many great people have gone and done different types of documentaries. This was meant to be an experience. This was meant to be an experience. As you saw, there were times when Brother Axel, who was the main coordinator and tour guide, he was the brother that was developing it. And you saw there were certain times with myself. It was meant to be an experience, okay? Because I've spoken to people in many different parts of the world, but here we are at the base of the pyramids, the Meru, and we're talking.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Dr. Clark. I'm talking about Dr. Ben. I'm talking.
Yeah.
I'm giving just anecdotes.
Yeah. And you're invoking that ancestral spirit too. Powerful ancestral spirits.
Exactly. And I was given, because you notice there's a lot of young people on that tour.
Yes.
Even Brother Says Fifth, who basically he did the background music for us. He's online right now. Truzic Music. And I encourage us, check out Brother's a contribution to the music areas.
I say.
You know, brilliant information.
Is he on the call now?
He emailed me while we were doing it. I believe he is.
If he is, hey family, drop your let me know if you're in here. Drop your contact info, your website, your socials, whatever, because the tribe was definitely showing love. It was like, yo, the music is dope. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, it is dope. I was gonna ask that. Was one of the questions I was gonna ask you. And I didn't want to post the questions in the middle of the documentary, so I was trying to keep it kind of clear. But nah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
And see, Brother has a family. His family was with him. Wife, 2 daughters, mom. They were on the trip.
For sure.
And what you're looking at is the importance to understand that the last time I was in Egypt, most of the people on the tour were not born.
Right. Right.
And in so many different ways in my experiences, I noticed that the elders who have the knowledge and wisdom of the importance of this are always present. But this showed the young people interested. And this was such an important trip to be able to be with young people and to talk to them about this and to encourage them. That's why I kept saying throughout the tour, what you going to do with this when you go back home?
Right.
Is this just another experience? Or are you going to go back home and implement something that's meaningful for the future and for the children? So it had been 37 years since I had been back to Kemet. And I went back with a whole nother way of thinking, because in 1987, I was working for the Board of Education. I had not yet taught my first college. I taught for 14 years. I started teaching college in 1988. So there were many parts of my life that I had not transformed into yet. So when I went back in 2024, I went back with a deeper sense of the importance of what I was experiencing. And you see, this is only one of 5 documentaries that we did. Our next one is coming out at the end of the month. And that's going to be the full piece when we were in the Cairo Museum. And it's the new Cairo Museum. See, this is where they're going to try to, in a very interesting way, because you see, with all the controversy that may have happened, my bottom line is they know, we know. Because remember, when Dr. Ben was first bringing tour groups like the late 70s, I went in 83. The great majority of Black folk that went to Egypt, who had an interest in Egypt, they really didn't have an interest in Egypt. most trips went to Israel because of the religious movement. And then they would come over and spend a day in Cairo with the museum, with the Meru, with the pyramids. And then they would go back to Israel. And then they would come back to the United States. Now, I'm not speaking about everybody. I'm speaking about the majority of Black folks. So that the great majority of melanated, the original Kemites, are further south, particularly Aswan. Then you have a mixture in Luxor, which is like middle Kemet, but in Cairo, the great majority of them are Indo-European. And they're the ones that are claiming they did all this, which they didn't. But they're claiming that they did.
Yeah.
And you see, they know that we know the truth now. And this is why Zahi Hawass had to come to the United States this year, because we blew them out the water when we were there. They had the Egyptian intelligence officers. They had the police. They had police on me the whole time I was there. In fact, I thought that somebody put gorilla glue on us. They stuck to me so close. When Heru and I were returning back to the United States, there was an intelligence officer sitting in the passenger seat of the cab that brought us to the airport. You see, they know that we know.
Yeah.
And they know that there's nothing they can do about it because, like I said, there's a preponderance of overwhelming evidence. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima was talking about this. Dr. Ben was talking about this. The Nubian brother at the end was talking about this. He knows this is their history. And so what we wanted to do on this tour is to create the documentaries for those that may never be able to go. We wanted to create an all-inclusive experience in order for us to be able to understand not just our past history, but to understand what it is that we have to do. And it's important that we do what we got to do.
Facts.
Teach the children. They are our star seeds.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me see. Somebody in the comment. Oh, matter of fact, I think this is the brother who did the music. Shout out to what was his name again, Professor Kaba?
Ses Fifth.
Ses Fifth. Yeah. Shout out to he's
Truzic Channel would be him.
I just put him up. Yeah, man. Shout out. Hey, if you can, Truzic Channel, share your like where people can find your music, because I don't know how soon you came on, but when we first started, there was people in the audience and in the tribe that was digging the music, bro. So if you want to share where you're sharing your music at and where you're selling it at and how people can tap in and support, man, that's what we're about. You know, united we stand, divided we fall, and it's always collaboration over competition in these Ashe streets. So if you want to share how, you know, the people can find your music, how they can find you on socials, how they can connect with you, bro, I'm definitely share it, you know, on the screen so we can make sure that, you know, people can support your work as well. But yeah, no, that's powerful. And he's speaking about, you know, what happened. It's crazy because I remember you and I spoke like not too long after all that foolishness was going on. Matter of fact, we were supposed to have this call about a month or so ago, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe like 2 months ago, but we couldn't do it because at the time we did the last one, which was supposed to be this call, they was harassing the brother Axel over there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They bust in his room.
Yeah.
Because he went for the winter solstice. They brought him back and they kept him for 24 hours. And they kept asking where I was, because when we released this we were supposed to release this documentary on the winter solstice. But brother Axel contacted me and he said, they're harassing us here. They're looking for you. Because when we promoted the idea of Negus and Kemet, the image was a whole bunch of black folk looking at the pyramid.
Right.
The Department of Antiquities and the government thought that I was coming back to Kemet. And so they were looking for me. And so they brought Axel. They were asking him all sorts of questions. They kept him for 24 hours. And he said to me, brother, is there any way that you can hold off? Because we're still here. We'll be here until the 27th of December. Is there any way you can hold off in releasing the documentary?
Mm.
And if you don't, we got to get out of here now. And so that's when I and Heru Neset rearranged the release of this documentary, Negus and Kemet. Because I'm going to tell you something, fam. You're not going to find this type of documentary.
Mm-mm.
And just like what Brother Says Fifth was talking about, we were in the newspapers. They put us on TV. They had us on Al Jazeera and Al Arabi TV. They had that picture when I was in the Cairo Museum talking to the group about Akhenaten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
see,
remember.
We don't realize how important we are as a people.
That part.
We really don't. We don't. And I'll tell you something else, brother. When I was planning on going to Kemet last June of 2024, when this documentary was done, I did not have any intentions at all of doing what eventually happened. I wasn't going there trying to turn things around. I wasn't trying to, that was not what I was attempting to do. All I wanted to do was to return back, Brother Axel, young brother, doing great work, doing tours, invited myself and Heru Neset to come and be co-people doing tours. He wanted me to co-host the tour. And I said, sure. Gave me a chance to go back, after 37 years. My intention was not to do what eventually happened. The stars have aligned, family.
Oh, yeah.
And for those that have been working on this, because like I said, I ain't in the Twilight Zone.
That part.
I'm into science. But science is seen spirituality, and spirituality is unseen science. What I did was I developed a tour guide. I developed a book for the family to get. It's the tour, the Kemet Tour, a soul-searching journey through the past to chart our course into the future. Kaba Kamene and Omega Axel. The graphics was by Heru Neset. We put this book together in order to complement all of the participants of our tour. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this up now, and I'm going to make it available for anyone that would like to come, which will complement the documentary series, the curriculums, the things, how to learn it, how to teach it to the children, things like that. It was a powerful experience.
Yes, sir.
Family, they know we know now.
Mm-hmm.
See, because like I said, when I was there in 1987, there was a professor, a Nubian professor that taught at the Nubian Cultural Center. And they arranged for he and I to take a felucca, a boat ride in the evening one night to talk. And one of his young students had come in contact with me and said that his professor would be interested in talking. So it was the three of us plus the driver of the boat. 1987. Now check out what I'm about to tell you, what he told me. He said in 1986, the year before, this was the first time he had ever encountered a black heart surgeon, a black doctor. There was a black doctor that had gone on Dr. Ben's tour, 1986. And this was in Aswan. This was the first time some of our brothers and sisters of melanation, the original Kush Kemet people, came in contact with black folk, because like I said, most people that went to Egypt only did a day excursion. They were going to Israel for that religious experience, and they went over to Cairo. They never went down to Aswan. They never went down to Luxor. They only went as far as Cairo. And so when Dr. Ben started bringing black folk, the first place we went to was Aswan. And we saw our brothers and sisters, and they got to know us. And we got to know them. And now they call us cousin. They call us brother. They call us sister. When I was in Aswan, All of them call me brother. All of them call me sister. Not only that, but they told me how proud they were of me, because they said, we hear about you on TV. They heard about the group. So when we got there, they want to take pictures with us, all of the participants. And they were proud of us because we stood up for them. We stood up for Black people because they're not looked upon too favorably. Because even that, they are afraid that those Black folk are going to become aware of what we know.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave a couple of them my book.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they say, you got to come back.
Mm.
I never got a chance to go back to Aswan during the trip, but it was quite an experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. I could definitely imagine. I mean, I remember just like when I first touched down on the continent last year, and I wasn't even in Kemet, but just the fact of being on the continent itself. Like, I remember it's so profound because I remember hearing you speak about this, I don't know how many times, time and time again before I met you. This is why I'm sitting, like, just like the people who are watching YouTube right now, this is when I'm sitting back just watching you on YouTube. You ain't know who I was, nothing about me, like, period. But I was just like, yo, this dude is the truth. Like, this dude, he the real deal. But it was like, you triggered a spark, something within me to take. And I was already a nerd, but after I got exposed to your work, it took my nerdiness into like super nerd warp speed in regards to like studying, reading, researching, etc. And so it was just like, wow. But I remember you talking about, and I don't remember which video it was, but I remember you talking about the first time you went to Kemet, and you was like, when you came back, you was like, life was never the same. Like, you was like, it changed everything about your whole entire experience. And it's like, I was just like, wow, I'm just sitting there thinking, like, I can imagine. I can imagine that that's what it was like. But it's one thing to live vicariously through somebody else's experience. But when I had my experience, it resonated then. I'm like, wow, like, I get it. Now it makes sense to me. Like, I didn't come back the same. Like, without me having that experience, we're not having this thing we're talking on right now, the African spirituality experience, because that was like the catalyst that really sparked everything about who I am now. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just different. And that wasn't even Kemet. And I was like studying Kemet before I even knew what Nigeria or Ifa or Orisha or any of that stuff was. So I can't imagine what that experience would be like when I do finally get to Kemet. And shout out to Baba Baba Yasir Ra Hotep, because he's in Kemet right now. I was supposed to actually be there with him, but I had a lot of other stuff going on that kind of put that trip to the side. But I tell you what, let me find a question. Somebody had a question for you that I want to bring to the floor because it was a powerful one. We got some questions coming in now too. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So this is one of them, but we got plenty more. What was the best part of the tour, and what did you learn or discover, or did you learn or discover anything new?
The best part of the tour, as some of the participants of the tour said at the end, it was being with 60 people who were there for the same purpose. It was a synchronicity of an ancient African call. The feeling that I had being with brothers and sisters, particularly the young brothers and sisters, the families like Seth Fifth and his family, and all of the younger people that had come on that tour. What I found to be, what I learned, if you want to say something new, I learned the younger brothers and sisters' perspective of what they were looking at, of what they were experiencing. I found myself not as a teacher, but as a facilitator of thoughts. That's what I was attempting to do, was to facilitate their thoughts, to keep a direction of understanding who they were and understand. Because you see, when the police, everywhere we went, the police were with us. And my concern, since they were focusing on me, my concern was to conduct myself in a way that nobody would be threatened, nobody would be hurt in any way, shape, or form. I was concerned about if I said something or did something that triggered something. We're in a foreign land and we ain't got no power over what's going on at this time. And so my thing was to be able to facilitate and to balance where I'm coming from as an elder, understanding what their fears are. Because there was young people on our trip that wasn't, they were not afraid. And I didn't blame them. But there's a gospel song that says, keep your lamp lit but trimmed. And I knew that we had to get home by the 26th, 27th of June. And I wanted to make sure everybody got back safe. So as we went through this process, what I began to see was the thirst, the hunger, the desire to know this information. And when I shared with them the curriculum that took them to a whole nother level, it just one lecture. It was about taking them through the book and showing them, and everybody got a PDF copy of it. Everybody didn't get a hard copy. They got a PDF copy of this curriculum. That's the best part of the tour, is the people that you meet. For me, being where I am as the elder, it was an extreme, magnificent event for so many young people to know when you go home, you share this. This documentary is meant to be shared. And this is why I appreciate you, Orisha Bemi, for this watch party. Okay? So that people that have tuned in can see this. We're going on tour. Harun Nasset and I are going on tour in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that the community can do is to support us financially. Because I want to go into communities that may not be able to have the capital, may not have the finances to bring me in. And so if I could get to them and to bring this information to them, beyond Kemet, how to teach our children, what to teach our children, how to teach our children. When we get into certain cities, when we start traveling, there are things that we're going to do. And so for those of you who would support us, I call them statements of support. They're financial, but I call them statements of support. This is an investment. Orisha Bemi, you invested in this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This is
more than what they know, too.
This is an investment in our future, our children, our community. I have a 100-year plan. Where do you see our people in the year 2125?
I see us.
We have to understand this.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So my thing is to ask people for support. This is just the beginning. When you see our documentaries coming through, we've got 4 more that's going to come through. One a month. We got one coming at the end of August. We have one September, October, November. Support the work we're doing. And you'll see the returns, because where we go, we're going to film. And where we film, we're going to bring it back to the community to let them know what it is that we're doing. When we go to Detroit, when we go to Chicago, when we go to Los Angeles, when we go to UK, I'll be doing a tour in UK next July. We'll be visiting 4 different cities, bringing this information, this knowledge to our people. So I'm looking forward to this. But we got to make this happen together.
Facts. Yeah.
That's why it's an investment.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to go out and do this work. I'm going to go out and do this work.
And you've been doing it from long days ago.
I've been doing it, brother. I've been an educator since 1977.
With receipts.
That's it. You can go to my website. You can see my webinars. Just did a webinar the other day on the data that shows the impact that someone knowing their cultural heritage improves their academic standing, their emotional standing. It improves. The name of our tour is called Cultural Wealth Promotes Positive Mental Health. Because so many of our children are going through mental issues.
Yeah.
But didn't we all? How can you be Black in America and not, somebody, say that Black people are schizophrenic. I said, schizophrenic? I said, I got 14 different personalities. My wife say, no, you got 17 because there's 3 that you don't even know. To be black in America, you must have multiple personalities to survive.
Listen, I didn't want to interrupt. When you said the children, I'm like, shit, adults do too. I'm one of them.
We do every day. We switch. When we go one place, we act a certain way. When we go another place, we act a certain way. When we go another place, we act a certain way. Those are all personalities. When people of European descent get up, they know they're going to be European all day.
That part.
As black folk, we go through changes all day long.
Yeah.
And by the time we get to school or work, something has happened in our life that has reminded us that we're black in America.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I literally saw a comment somebody left on the channel recently, a couple of days ago, and it tickled me. It really, really tickled me. And so the comment was, I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all sound crazy AF as AF. And so it was a few days before it went by, but it really tickled me. So I responded back. I was like, you know what? I appreciate the support. And there was some other guests on that particular episode. So I can't speak for the other brothers, but I'm gonna tell you straight up. Yeah, that's cool with me. I've been told that all my life. And another thing is, I never wanted to fit in with anything that seems normal about this country or this planet. So yeah, I appreciate you calling me crazy as F, because I am them, and you don't know that side.
Well, actually, you're quite sane. It's the society that's crazy.
There you go. Yeah.
And this is something that we trip over.
Mm-hmm.
Having been with our children for the years that I've been with them, I can tell you now, ain't nothing wrong with them. Something wrong with the system. It's not that, as they say, well, they don't fit in. Well, fit in what? How can you fit in a system that was not developed for you? You purposely are on the outside of the system because the system is not for you. I tell a story about the crabs in the basket. Everybody talk about the crabs in the basket. Like when one black folk get to the top of the basket to get out, somebody pulls them back down. And while that may have some validity, I also tell people about the history and the development and the culture of a crab. Because if you took those crabs that you took out of their natural environment and put them in an unnatural basket, if you took those basket of crabs and put them back in their natural environment of water, crabs actually help each other. Crabs sit on top of each other. And the one on the top eats first. And after that crab has dined sufficient, it goes to the bottom, gets up underneath the one on the bottom and pushes the group back up so that the next one eats. When that one dines sufficient, it goes back down underneath and pushes the group up so the third one eats. So the proverb is, when you take a natural entity and put them in an unnatural environment, it is natural for them to act unnatural. And as much as we may be disappointed in what we're experiencing as a people and how we treat each other, if you took us and returned us back to our natural environment, to the way in which our history tells us who we are, the language that we speak explains who we are, and our values, interests, and principles are based on our history and spoken through our language, we wouldn't act like this. That's just science. We are natural entities living in an unnatural environment. Dr. Wade Noble's brilliant educational psychologist out of California tells us, culture is to a human as water is to a fish. You live in it, you breathe it, you eat in it, you defecate in it, you dance in it. That's your culture. That's who you are. And we are fish out of our water. So this purpose, this documentary, is to get back into our water. My tour is meant for us to get back into our own mindset, to learn our history, to learn our language, to learn our values, interests, and principles. But most importantly, teach it to our children. Because if what we're doing is not based on the upliftment and the total liberation and emancipation of our children, who are our future, we ain't gonna have a future. Our children are our future. And they're ready. Just like you saw the participants in that tour, just like I've been with pre-kindergarten and kindergarten children that come to school every day. My students came to school every day. Some of them were sick. And I say, you sure you want to be here? They coughing and sneezing and going through all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But they want to be in school. By the third grade, their attendance goes down. Their focus on their academics goes down. And that's because they are coming to realize that they're being taught a lie. And when someone tells a perfect lie, the truth is unbelievable.
That part. I love that. I love that. Oh, I love that statement. I done used that statement so many times. I ain't gonna lie, I done borrowed several of them from you, but I give you,
well, they're all yours, brother.
I give you your intellectual credit, man, because I just saw like channels online on YouTube that's stealing the content from the channel. A part of me I started to like do something about it, but I like, you know what, go ahead and have it, because this is what it's for anyway. You know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, I love that. And the reason why I feel like those children came to school is because they was getting what my first podcast was called, Food for Thought. Mind, body, and soul. So therefore, if you're not able, it's just like there are children who I know, and unfortunately it's a sad truth, but there are children who go to school just because they need to get the free lunch. Yeah. They don't have nothing to eat at home. Times is hard, times is rough. But I feel like with those students, and matter of fact, we might have one or two on the call tonight. I hope they're still here. If they are, I would love to bring them up, or if they have any comments or anything they want to share with you. But I know for a fact, I think I had a live stream either last night or the night before, where one of your students from like either, I don't know if it was kindergarten or first grade, was like, yo, Professor Kaba was like I think, forgive me, Queen, if I'm getting it wrong, but I think it was either your kindergarten class or first grade class. She was like, yo, he was one of my teachers when I was in like kindergarten, first grade. I'm like, well, yo, we working on bringing them in. So, hopefully you could be here to see it. But I say all that to say those children, they probably was well off and eating as much as they wanted to, but they weren't getting fed mentally, spiritually, or emotionally at home. So they wanted to come to school by any means necessary because they know that you was pouring in that nourishment. And that's different. That's
Absolutely.
Different.
And there was I don't call it a secret. It wasn't a secret. It was just a plain fact.
I see.
What made, and you see the sister here, Lady Night Walker?
That's one of the ones I was talking about. That's what I'm like, that's divine time right there. Sorry to interrupt, but that's what I was talking about.
Now that ES 229, now you're talking about 1981. Oh, my sister Lady Night, I don't mean to blow your spot like that, but I was a teacher at CES 229. I was a teacher, then I became the assistant principal at CES 229 back in the early 80s. And what our sister Lady Night is saying is that there's one thing that I brought into the classroom with me, and I still do it to this day. I love my people and I respect them, no matter where they are in the station of life. If you're Black in 2025 and still alive, whether you realize it or not, you are a miracle, a miracle, because you're not supposed to be here. And I remember my students and how I felt about them and what we would do in the classroom and talk, and just beyond just the education. It was just about being vitally interested in their well-being as a human being. And that's what the African education system did. It built the individual in order for them to be able to do what was necessary. I created a safe haven for the children in my class. Be you. You be you. I was no judgmental. Men are judge, let's judge I. We're all here together. Let's get this together and let's do what we got to do. That's what I brought into the classroom. And once a young child trusts you, you can teach them anything and you can take them to the levels of absolute genius, which I am sure our sister Lady Night Walker is at this point. And I'm just so happy. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for being willing to make those statements, because it reinforces what I've always believed is what Black educators need to do with Black children. Just love them, respect them, and realize that they are you yesterday, but more importantly, they'll be you tomorrow. They are our future.
I sure.
Teach them well. New notes say, wake up everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backwards thinking, time for thinking ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, look, I'm gonna make a clip. I'm gonna clip this up and use that as as the beat, dropping up under it, because I wholeheartedly, like, I can relate to her. I can relate to her on every level, because what's amazing to me is that she was blessed to have you as a young person, right? So, but everything that she said, I felt that from the very first time I was exposed to your work. I was a grown man. I was in my late 20s, early 30s when I first got exposed to your work. But the same thing, it was something like, yo, that dude, that's him. That's him. And I'm not the type of person, like, I like, straight up, I don't hold nobody's nuts. I don't kiss nobody's butts. Like, I call it how I see it, and I'm going to give it the best description I can by any means necessary. Everything that it is, I'm never trying to take nothing from nobody, and I'm never going to give somebody more than what they earn. But I do my best to describe it how I see it. And it's like, for me, it was the same thing as Lady Nightwalker. Like, it was like, yo, this dude is him. Like, this is him. And so that's literally why we're sitting here today, because I think it might have been the first YouTube video I saw was Black People Come from Sirius. And that was your lecture in London. Okay. That was what inspired Starseeds, because not just Starseeds, but then the Hidden Colors, that franchise, it took it to another level. But it was Black People Come from Sirius was the one that was my spark. That was my all spark. For those who watch Transformers, when I found that video, or that video found me, I found the all spark. Like, that was it right there. And it's like, shout out to the master teacher, Dr. York, too, because somebody asked me earlier today about if I ever talked to you about Dr. Malachi York. Are you familiar with Dr. York's work?
I remember when he was the Ansar Allah community. I remember him when his name was Michael.
Look, I don't know who asked that comment, but hey, shout out to you. You about to get the answer.
Listen, check this out. I remember when I was in the subway system in New York, the members of the Ansar Allah community, of which he was heading up, this was before the Nubians, when he was heading up the Ansar Allah community, I remember that I used to be on the train, and they'd come through and they would sell different products, and they sell books, little pamphlets. And I remember I must have been maybe in 8th grade, or maybe the first year in high school, somewhere there. I was young. And they said, hey, brother, you need to read this book. And so I looked at it, I said, how much is it? And he said, well, we're asking for $1, but what you got? And I said, well, I got 50 cents. He said, well, that's good. So I gave him 50 cents, and he gave me the pamphlet. And that was the first time I was ever introduced to a man by the name of the Honorable Noble Drew Ali. That was the first time I ever read a book on Noble Drew Ali, was through the Ansar Allah community and what he had done with the Moorish Science Temple of America.
That's powerful. Like that, you talk about, that's a bridge right there. That's a bridge. That's a huge bridge, because somebody just asked me that today. I think it was today. Somebody asked me, have I ever spoken? I'm like, man, I can't even tell you how many times we've spoken and how many hours probably we've spoken, and that's never come up. But he was my very, very first teacher, like, that I looked at in the light that I look at you. Dr. York was by far the first one, like that. And after I was exposed to his work, my world was never the same. Period. Like, it was never the same.
Don't forget Shechem of the Asara Set community. Shechem is another brother that was down on Dean Street in Brooklyn.
Wow.
Very familiar. I used to speak at his place in Philadelphia up on Germantown Avenue. They used to bring me to do presentations there, the Asara Set community. See, one of the things I think that I bring to the community that is advantageous, and that's why it is always so important for me to always remain with our community, is because I've seen it all. I've experienced it all. Now, of course, when I say all, I mean as much as possible. But being around someone like Dr. John Henry Clark, everybody wanted to be around Dr. John Henry Clark.
Yeah.
So I have been in rooms where it's Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark. And they're going back and forth. I've been with Dr. Clark when John G. Jackson, Chancellor Williams were with John Henry Clark. I've been there with Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Asa Hilliard. Everybody wanted to be around Dr. Clark. And because I was there with Dr. Clark, I was around them too. And I think one of the things that Dr. Clark always appreciated about me is I never opened my mouth. When I was in the presence of all of those great scholars, I never said nothing. I didn't ask no questions. And he'd look at me out the corner of his eye, because I might be doing something in his file folders, arranging his file folders, or just putting things together to help him out. And he'd look at me out of the corner of his eye, and he would see I was looking, I was listening, but I wasn't talking. Because when you're in the presence of these great minds, I never spoke, because then that would draw attention on you. And I just wanted them to talk for the way they were talking. And because of that, I've been exposed to a lot of the people. I've heard a lot of the conversations that the elders had about different people. And like I've always said, I will never say anything publicly about anybody. I was talking to Seth Fifth tonight about this. I will never, Dr. Clark used to say, I will never speak against another black man or woman in public. But when I'm here with you or with anyone else on a private level, it is my obligation to tell you the truth. And if you ever tell anybody that I told you that, I'm going to say you lie. And that's how I've always felt. You can go back in everything I've ever done. You'll never hear me speak negatively about any brother or sister, even if they're doing negative things. Because that's how your oppressor gets to you. Your oppressor uses your differences to divide you and conquer you. And I tell people all the time, if I have a problem with you, I'm going to call you up myself. I ain't going to say it publicly. I'm going to call you up myself. And I have made some calls like that. But it's always been private. And they know homie ain't going out there going to talk about nobody. And it's not because you're doing the right thing. It's because I know they will divide and conquer us if they know where I have problems. And like the commercials say, I never let them see me sweat. You ask me about somebody, I'll tell you about them in a positive light. I'll tell you what I see about them positively. But if you and I are kicking it, Orisha Bemi, and you ask me a question about somebody, I'll tell you the truth.
Oh, you done it.
Yes, I have.
Listen, and I did the same thing you did. I kept it to my goddamn self because my respect level is through the roof.
That's it. My bottom line is you don't speak publicly against each other.
No.
But when we are private and you ask me, it's my obligation to tell you the truth. Because then I'm going to let you walk into a pit.
Listen, Professor Kaba, shout out to everybody who's been rocking with me from day one, man. And shout out to you. But I literally just shared the episode today of the very first interview you and I ever did. And from the very first time we had that, mind you, that was the second time I actually was in your space in real life. But I'm gonna ask this question at the end if we have time. But one thing I admire and I respect the most is that, and I even share it into the introduction to that video, was that it was a live stream last Saturday. But I shared in the very beginning, like Professor Kaba, from the very first time that I ever saw him in South Carolina. You remember that one in the church?
Yes.
Right after the Dylan Roof thing. I ain't gonna get into what I spoke about then, but I remember that. And then I remember it was the second time I saw you in real life in Miami when I was blessed to be able to get that interview with you. But I shared with the tribe, like, he was the same dude then from the very first time in South Carolina as he is now. Nothing changed about him. Nothing. I can't say that about too many people, Professor Kaba. I can't say that because a lot of people, they change or they present themselves in a way or in a manner that ain't really them. They got the mask on. I saw y'all earlier try with the comments about masks. I don't wear no mask. What you see is what you get. It ain't online, offline, on phone, no, none of that. Like, because I'm not wearing a mask. But that's the same thing with Professor Kaba. Like, and he never changed. Like, and I love it and I respect it. And I feel like we need more authenticity. Like, you know what I'm saying, in the culture and in the movement, because sometimes there's people who are in positions that they there for, nefarious reasons. But anyway, I say all that to say that, where do you see us now, 2025, Sunday, August 17th, 2025? What would you give to us, the same people? Because I'm one of the people who, you were speaking to when you was in Kemet, that's just sitting there, waiting, watching, researching, studying what you're saying. How do we maximize our potential? And what do we do with our potential to bring about the works of not just yours, but those who inspired you, so that we can create for 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, 100,000 years from now, some sort of manifestation of change?
I always told my students, whether you're in pre-K or K or college, whatever grade, I say to our people all the time, you were born a genius. You were born with a gift, a divine gift. And this gift was first developed before you were conceived. And when the gift was put in its proper place with everything that it needed, it then needed an avatar to be able to go in. I'm doing a thing on AI now. Along with finishing up my book, I'm doing a pamphlet on AI. And AI to me is ancestral intelligence. And ancestral intelligence is natural intelligence. The AI of today is artificial intelligence. And there is nothing in artificial intelligence that our ancestors didn't develop generations ago in different forms, from the builders of the pyramid to the Moors, to the plantation dwellers, to the civil rights movement, to the hip hop culture. They're all the same, but different manifestations of the same thought and same idea. And what we have to do as an individual is to first understand you were born a genius and you were born with something to do. You have a task that the ancestors gave you. And that task needs to be fulfilled, whatever it may be, whatever your passion is, whatever it is. Only you know that. Understand that you have everything you need to solve every challenge you will ever have. And for me, you only have one enemy. Only one enemy. And that enemy is the Judas that dwells within you. That's your only enemy. You were born with a Judas and you were born with a Messiah. The Judas was born in you to make sure you never reach your divine gift. And your Messiah was born in you to make sure Judas fails. I know this through science. This is not something I'm speaking of from an emotional perspective. This is science. And all you have to do is realize that Judas may fall 9 times, but the Messiah will rise 10. That's the story of earthly resurrection. And it's out of that earthly resurrection that you will have your resurrection when your body dies and your spirit is reborn, and it resurrects itself and returns back to its home from when it originally came. The question is, what is your gift? Okay, you work for FedEx, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're a computer scientist. Okay, is that your gift? Your gift may be art. Your gift may be music. Your gift may just be a person that you're a bartender. Vegetarian bartender, of course. You could be a barber, a beautician. You could do nails. Some of the most important people in our lives are bartenders and barbers and beauticians. Some of the most important people, because you spill your guts out in the bar and that bartender there is taking it all in and giving you advice. Sometimes the beautician is more important to you than your psychiatrist. So all the things that we do in life are important. There are some things you do to pay the bills, but there are some things you do to complete your divine destiny, your purpose in life. And you've got it. And if we could understand that, along with something else that I think is very important, time is the most precious gift you have. Time is the most precious gift you have. You can have all the money in the world, you can lose it, and you can make more money the day after. You can have all the houses in the world, they burn down, you can build another one the next day. But none of us will ever have another August 10th, 2025. That's why we say pay attention.
Yes, sir.
Because your time is a currency that you can never get back. Spend your time wisely.
Yeah. Nah, I agree.
Know you got it. And the system is going to try to make you think that you need to listen to Judas instead of your Messiah. There is nothing you can't achieve. I'm a living example of it.
You and me both.
Yeah. From the stories that we have shared, and
real.
We have history as Black people. We have history here.
Yeah.
You can't act natural in an unnatural society. We all try to go by the rules, which is good, but there are natural rules. Those natural rules are more important than the man-made rules in Western civilization. We live higher than their standards. They have low standards. And so what we have to do, family, is just understand, fulfill your dreams. There is, I think, one of the worst things is to become an elder and wish you had done something else. To let an opportunity pass you by for whatever reason. And then when you get to be an elder, you look back and you say, that was my opportunity to fulfill my destiny. It's not that it's ever too late. But if you had done it back then, imagine where you are now. So everybody that's online right now, what do you want to do? Keep doing what you're doing to pay the rent. Put food on the table. You go, come on. That's the world you're in. Babylon. You got to act a certain way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What is it that you want to do? Do it. You may not be able to do it full time. Do it part time until part time can become full time. But never give up your dreams. Never give up your aspirations. Never allow the system to come down on you where our mental health smothers us into believing that we can't achieve our greatest dreams. And then with everything that you bundle into what I just told you, give it to the children. And let them know that no matter what you see happening out here, it's going to get better. As a black people, we've been through much worse. We have been through much worse. And if we could get through that, we can get through this. We got what it takes to take what they got. And we've proven it. From the plantation, to the civil rights, to the human rights, to the hip hop. We've shown them what we're made of. And that's why they come at us the way they do. Because they're afraid of us. They don't hate you. Or if they do, the hate is an emotional response to something much deeper than that. They fear you. And because they fear you, they feel they want to stop you. But like McFadden and Whitehead said, ain't no stopping us now. Time is up. You got the watch. We got the time. Fulfill your dreams, family. Understand who you are. You come from a long line of people who have put everything they have on the line. Make no difference, you drug addict, alcoholic, you've been to the bottom. If you're alive, you're a miracle. Because you ain't supposed to be here. And the fact that we're here like this, Bob Marley say, no one can curse who Jah has blessed. We're blessed. We've been blessed. And all we got to do is keep on keeping on. Solar power is the wealth of the future. And it's just interesting that wherever the sun shines the brightest, the people are the most melanated. It's like the Creator just put the greatest gift in our backyard and said, just step outside, it's all yours.
Yep, that part. I'm just sitting here mulling through the comments because the tribe going ham in the comments. But man, listen, Professor Kaba, I really can't put it into words, how monumental you have been to my journey. And not just my journey, clearly a vast majority, if not all of the true, real, loyal members of the African spirituality experience, the Ashe movement, the Ashe tribe, like you like the tip of the spear, man, in regards to like who and what this movement represents. Because like I said, it for me personally, to go from watching you on YouTube as late 20s, early 30s, and then becoming a father and a husband and then non-husband and then, becoming a husband again and all that. But one thing never changed is that I had my eye on the prize, and the prize was the GPS with getting me to the goal of goals that precede success. And so I want to give thanks. I want to give honor. I want to give reverence to you, and not just you, but all the teachers who you studied, the Dr. Benz, the Dr. Clarks, the Dr. Hilliards, the Dr. Jacksons, the Sertimas, all the people that paved the way for you. I lived through you and all your experience you had with them. And my goal is to do the same thing you did. Like you said, you sat there and you was able to be next to Dr. Clark, next to Dr. Ben. I say it gratefully and I say it humbly, but damn it, you and Professor Smalls, y'all are the Dr. Bens and the Dr. Clarks of this generation. I've been blessed to sit right here doing this with both of y'all, online and in real life. I'm honored by that. I can't tell you how much that means to me. More so the conversations offline, because the people who come in here, and some of them are real writers, some of them with the bullshit, but we ain't worried about them. But the ones who are real riders, like, I've never talked to them about that, but that means the world and then something to me, because to sit there and watch y'all on TV for years and then to be able to actually talk to you offline, like in a real conversation, and then to be able to do things like this, that means everything to me. And what's more amazing is you wasn't on when I said this, but I literally started the show by talking about just being prepared for opportunities, because you never know when it's going to come. You never know when it's going to come. And so the opportunity I had to get directly introduced to you, and the same thing with Professor Smalls and several other, scholars and masters, like, It was because I was obedient, listening to my spirit by listening, but doing the work. So when those opportunities came, I was blessed to seize them. So I want to ask you this, because I know time is running short and we got to get out of here, but what is it that you look for when you look for, or even when you arrive in any situation or any moment, when there is something that we consider an opportunity? Because I feel like right now on August 17th at 12:46 a.m. Eastern time, 2025, I feel like this is an opportunity. We're looking at an opportunity right now for us as a people, collectively, culturally, globally, to seize this opportunity for us to be prepared to do exactly what we've always had in us and exactly what we've always done, what we always do, and what we always will do, for us to be where we're supposed to be when this thing called the grand scheme of things is all said and done. And like to quote you, it ain't over till we win. Mm-hmm. So I know time is short. Can you just give us one last jewel that we can sign off with before we get out of here?
Well, one of the key pieces, I think, in terms of what I have assessed, one time I was with Dr. Clark, and I said to him, I said, Dr. Clark, as I think of the influences that you had on me, I could never repay you for what you did for me. And he said, I know you ain't got that much money. He said, but the way you can pay me back is to do for others what I've done for you. And so to you, my brother Orisha Bami, and to my sister Lady Night Walker, and to Veronica, who I still wear your clothes, brother, and to Ses Fifth, and to everybody that's online here, for whatever I've done, however I've impacted you, the only way you could pay me back, the only way you could appreciate me and the work that I've done, is to do for others what I've done for you. I don't pay back. Our ancestors did exactly what they were supposed to do to get me here. I worked through the ancestors for our children. I don't pay back, I pay forward. We have to pay forward. Every African civilization that I've studied, every culture in Africa, around the world, down south, the Caribbean, Central South America, Mexico, in Europe, in the Netherlands, in UK, every place where Black folk are. The successful civilization is the civilization that is doing everything it can to make their children better than them. I don't want you like me. I don't want my children like me. I want them better than me. And when I say that, it's not so much that they are better than me in terms of the quality, because every generation, every level of life from its very beginning, even in the earliest forms of the human being, they had their geniuses too. Within the framework where they were geniuses. Okay, whether they were Homo sapiens, whether they were Homo erectus, whether they were Australopithecines, they had geniuses in their ranks. And the same is true for us today. So I'm not saying, when I say better than, I'm saying let me pass the baton of success to you so that you can pass it on to someone else. Because this is what we have to do. Our ancestors, man, when I think of what our ancestors went through on a daily basis, I don't even, when I dream that I'm having a rough time, I wake up and I apologize for even having a dream like that. What our ancestors did to get them where they got, when they were on the plantation in the 1700s and the 1800s, and they would look up into the heavens and pray to the Creator to give them a better way, to give them some type of respite, some type of rest from what they were going through. The Creator would go within them, and that Judas would fall, but the Messiah would rise. and they were able to give birth. And what they gave birth to was us. We are the manifestations of their greatest dreams. So as we close out, fam, I'm going to ask you about your dreams. Where do you see our people, and particularly our children, in the year 2125? I have a 100-year plan. And I'm going out on tour to share that 100-year plan with our community. It's real. I got it. I got the curriculums. I've got the successful way of teaching our children. I know what we have to do. And I want to come into your community. And I want to talk to you. I'm not interested in talking to boards of education. I'm not saying I wouldn't go to a board of education. You call me and I'll come. But I'm not aiming for that. I'm aiming for you, for our community, for our community centers, for our church groups. So we can get this together for our children. Our children deserve the best because they are the best. They are the best of the best. They have it in them. You can see it. You can feel it. You can hear it. They got it. And it's up to us to step forward and do it. So support what we're doing, family. And let me demonstrate what I'm talking about. Make everybody demonstrate to you, because so many people come to us with all these stories about what they're going to do. And they ask you for this and ask you for that, and you see how it ends up. Make people prove to you that they are who they are. I'm going to end here. When I go out and I speak, people say they want me to give them my resume as to how they're going to introduce me. My background, my education, where I've been, and all the things I've done. Well, I got too much to do to give so much time for someone to explain who I am. So what I tell people that are going to introduce me as an educator. Simple. Brother Kaba, an educator. And then let me, as I present myself to the community, prove all the things you were going to say about me. We got to make our people accountable for what they're telling us and who they are. They must be accountable. Accountable is 2 words. It's your ability to account for who you are. Responsibility is 2 words. It is the response to your ability. Who are you? And don't ask people to believe you or to have faith in you. Just tell them, let my work speak for me. Orisha Bami, thank you, brother. Thank you for this opportunity to be able to speak to our community. Thank you for having this watch party. Be on the lookout for the other works that we're doing, family. And I respectfully request that you support us for what we're doing. Invest in our children. And when you do that, you're going to invest in your future. Peace out. All power to the people.
I say, oh. Shout out to the tribe. They're going ham. Real quick, Professor Kaba, before we get out, I can't thank you enough, but I'm gonna thank you anyway, but it ain't gonna be enough. But I appreciate you. Like I said, all the things that you've done on and off air, more so off air, but definitely on air because more people benefit from it. But with that, the people want to know, was this going to be available? I'm like, nah, it's not going to be available because it's an exclusive. So I'll definitely get with you to figure out how we can give them the download. But I also posted the link to the actual documentary to Tribe. So if y'all want to get this, we'll work that out in the very near future. Shout out to Heru, because speaking about art, Heru is the one who created the cover art for the channel. So he did that for me. So shout out to him. Shout out to the brother who was there with you in Kemet with the music. if there's any way I could help you, brother, with like putting the music out there, let me know. Get with me. I definitely do that because I'm all about collaboration over competition. But real quick too, I definitely look forward to bringing you here in the state of Florida, the Sunshine State. Once you start that tour, Professor Kaba, I look forward to that. And just doing whatever I can to continue to push forward the information, the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding, overstanding, understanding, and understanding. And I give thanks, for all that you've done, not just for myself, but for all that you've done for the culture. And so with that, family, I appreciate y'all. Professor Kaba, is there anything you want to share with the tribe just in regards to like supporting you and your movement and how they can kind of reach out or tap in or connect with you before we get out of here?
Well, one thing I'd like to tell you is that if you go to my website, kabakamene.com, you put your email in and a 6-day free e-course will come to you, and also my study guide, my most important document that I've ever written, 44-page study guide. Dr. Clark used to always say, you may not get to your destination in life, but if you leave the proper roadmap, those that come behind can pick it up and continue your journey. My study guide is my roadmap as to what I am aiming to do in my life. I don't plan on going any place, so I'm not saying it like that. I plan on Methuselahizing this. I want to live as long as I can. But the idea is that you go to my website, my e-course, my study guide, and all of the materials that I've developed over time is there. And so you'll have the ability to get the e-course, get the study guide, and you'll see the work that I've done, the webinars, quick webinars, and my webinars, the work that I've done, the books that I've written. And I encourage you to get the books from me because I get the money as opposed to Amazon, but I'm not going to put that word out there. I don't want them to get upset with me. But that's how it goes. That's the nature of the business. But be that as it may, family. KabaKamene.com. You can go on Instagram. You can go into my link where I have all of my, where I have the connections to all of the work that I'm doing. And it's important that you understand, I don't write books because I'm a writer. I write books because I have something to say. I want to tell you something. And so as we move forward, if for those of you who would like to cash at me, it's the $ Kaba Kamene 7, or it's Kaba Kamene 7. So family, invest in our future. But more importantly, hold me accountable for what I'm saying. For those that have come before me that know my work, I do what has to be done, but don't believe me because I said it. Because too many people tell you the same thing. And realize that democratia means people power. Republica means for the people, of which both of these parties ain't done nothing like that. But the Black Panther Party told us that all power belongs to the people. Power is not a word just to be said. Power is something you do. So be strong, be safe. Have peace. Thank you for your time.
Woo. Yeah. In a former life, I remember we used to do things we called all-nighters. Certain people would know. Certain people on here would know. If you know, you know. But in this life, man, I promise I'll sign up all day, every day to do all-nighters doing this type of work because I love it. And I know it's a lot. I know how many people benefit from it. So with that, Professor Kaba, I can't thank you enough, like I said, for your time, for your wisdom, for your understanding, overstanding, understanding all that you do, all that you be, all that you are, all that you will be for us, for your family, for your children. Shout out to Heru and your entire tribe, your family, and man, I give thanks. So from my family to yours, to the utmost respect and love, I give it to you. And same thing to y'all, tribe. I appreciate all of y'all family too, man. Like if those who know, y'all know I rock with y'all. Y'all rock with me. I rock with you the same way. Like this is what it is, and we're here now. So I give thanks. And so yeah, you won't see the full thing. You'll see I'll clip it up and I'll put the Q&A. I'll put this conversation on the channel, but the documentary won't be on there, family. So if anything, I shared the links to Professor Kaba's website and to the documentary where you can get that on his website. So that way you can get a copy. And shout out to, I think it was, the two winners who won the prize, because I don't want to mess up y'all names. But shout out to them. And then I forgot to do the Star Seeds Raffle. So real quick, Professor Kaba, I know you might probably got to get out of here, but I definitely want to make sure I honor my words and give out that raffle for Starseeds. But with that, Professor Kaba, I appreciate you. I look forward to the next one. Let me know whenever you get a chance when y'all thinking about releasing it. And I would love to do this again or even just have a conversation about it, you know, to kind of do whatever I can to push it out there and get as many people's eyeballs and, support, on anything that you do going forward. So I appreciate you. I should touch Professor Kaba Tribe. Real quick, I'll do another quick raffle, 1 to 50. If I'm gonna pick two numbers. I got two numbers, 1 to 50, and I'm gonna send whoever wins, these two numbers, I'm gonna send a copy of Starseeds, family.
Okay. I was just waiting for the Starseeds to go through. You gonna do the Starseeds?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, yeah,
I ain't going nowhere, brother. I'm gonna hang with you to the end until you cut it.
My bad. Look, I didn't know.
Oh yeah, man. I got the time, brother. I got the time.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then, because this is a question I was curious about. And this is a real question too, because we don't have real conversations from the very first time we had a conversation till now. And I love that. I can't tell you how much I love that, because it means more to me to have had those real conversations with you off air, because that validates to me. It took your credit score from a 750 to an 8. I don't even think it goes higher than 800, but it took, in my eyes, it took it from a 750 to like an 850, 900, after talking to you in real life, because I'm like, damn, not only a dude like that dude, but like he real too. So with that, I do have a question, because this is something that happens. I know it's happened. Whoa, we got the two winners already. My bad, y'all. Y'all got shout out to Flammer. Flammer was the one. That was the first winner. And look, harmonious balance. Like you definitely like, yeah. Before we came on, and I told you about the raffle. You did pick the two winning numbers, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I just wanted them to know. So he picked the two numbers, which was 7 and 9.
Yes.
Okay, so that just for authenticity purposes. Now I'm gonna have to share this picture of the two numbers that I wrote down before I shared, before I set it out there, like that we're gonna do the raffle for the Starseeds. But literally back to back, Flammer won the first one, and Harmonious Balance won 2. Harmonious Balance won yours and mine. That that's something.
Harmony.
But with that, say it again.
That's harmony.
Listen.
That's harmonious balance. Got both of them.
That's it. Like the name alone, but that's real. And it was organic. Like that's a real thing. And I actually post that picture for real, because I picked 11 and 24. And Flammer hit it first, and they hit it back to back. Bing, bing. Like for real, for real. But now I appreciate y'all. So Flammer, if you can, hold on, let me put my email in the comments. Flammer, if you could email me your email address, and then that way I can get you your copy of Starseeds. And then the same thing with you, Harmonious Balance, please, if you could email me your email address, and I'll get you your copies of the documentary, just to keep it a buck and honor our words and stay true to who we are, what we do, and who we be. So here's my email address. If y'all could send me the way to get that to both of y'all, I appreciate y'all. So yeah, that's it, man. That shut it down real quick. So yeah, I'm just gonna end it with giving thanks, Professor Kaba. They hit like back-to-back home runs, man. Flammer, shout out to Flammer and Harmonious Balance. Like they literally picked both the two numbers that I had, 11 and 24, back-to-back, bang bang. So yeah, that's it. You got anything else you want to leave with the people, or are we done? I know you guys said more than enough, Professor Kaba.
Oh, brother, it's just I just want to thank people again.
I should.
For their time, because it's precious. And I also encourage you, let the children know it's going to be all right. Be with them so that they know it's going to be all right. Because if you're with them, it's going to be all right.
I should. No, I appreciate it. So shout out to the tribe, man. Shout out to everybody who came through. And with that, I'll see y'all on the next episode, family. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for the support, the love. Thanks again for helping us hit 1 million. Look, we ain't done yet. Now we got to get 1 million subscribers. But better than the subscribers, we need 1 million people who's ready to go 10 toes down the collective transformation of this planet. So I give thanks to each and every one of y'all. Shout out to Professor Kaba, and shout out to your family for allowing you to spend time with us tonight. And shout out to mine too. I give thanks and gratitude. With that, family, we'll see y'all on the next episode. This is your host, Orisha Bami. Shout out to Professor Kaba Kamene. We'll see y'all on the next one, family. We out. Peace. Odabo.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé sàpò ìyàgbọ́ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo sí ẹni gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your